Welcome to Creative Connections. I'm Gary Blanchard, and today my guest is Jim Allard from the Clowning for Kidz Foundation. Jim, welcome.
Hi, Gary. How you doing? Thank you.
All right. So what led you to start Clowning for Kidz?
Well, my daughter. My daughter, when she was in elementary school, she was diagnosed with scoliosis. And she went to the hospital in Springfield, which was the Shriners Hospital. And she spent to the age of 18 under their observation and helping them and helping her. And when she was 18, I felt that I would like to do more than give back to the hospital. I'd like to open up a foundation and help as many children as we could. When my daughter went to the shrine, she certainly had no idea that her father was going to be a clown. Nor did I. I sat there and I said, geez, what would be the easiest thing for me to pay back my debt? Because the hospitalization and all the treatments that she was getting was for free. And I said, well, you know what, maybe I can become a clown, which is probably one of the hardest things I've done.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and it's funny because I was thinking I went 60-odd years without knowing a clown. When you started Clowning for Kidz, how did you find clowns to join the foundation? Well,
it helped out. There's a institute down in Plymouth. It's the Northeast Clown Institute, and I happen to sit on the board down there. That takes care of the East Coast from Florida up to Canada, actually.
Okay.
And we probably get maybe 200 clowns, 250 clowns the third week in January of every year. So we have a convention down there, and through that particular function, Clowning for Kidz was more being awareness out there, and people were starting to join and ask about it. We have a gentleman right here in Ware, Bill Blanchard. He happens to be one of our volunteers, and by the way, this is all volunteer. Nobody gets paid for anything. His two grandchildren also clown with us. So we have, you know, from 8 to 80, the range of ages. And when I get enough people, I'm going to say maybe 5, we'll open up a clowning course for probably 4 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, and all depends how many people we have in West Warren. And
okay.
Through that, we'll teach them professionally how to address themselves as a clown, the appearance as a clown. It takes an awful lot of work. It's got a lot to do with interpersonality to decide who you're going to be or what you're going to be.
Yeah, I was. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, do you think that there are some people who are just natural clowns, or? Yeah,
there are. You know, it's really funny because I get brought back every now and then. I did an elderly home out in, I think it was Hadley, and they had a little outside party, and of course we went there and made balloons and everything, and everybody was happy, and these are all elderly, and of course there's children in themselves too. And there was a gentleman that was so cranky. Oh my goodness, he was just awful. Never smiled, never did nothing. And I was making hats for the women, and they were coming up, and oh my God, they thought it was great. All of a sudden, he stood in front of me, and I was totally astonished. I said, like, wow, what does this man want, you know? So I said, could I help you? And he says, can I have a hat? And it just blew me away. I says, absolutely, you know.
So how many clowns are now involved with Clowning for Kidz?
Well, we've been here for 10 years now, and we opened up 2008. We've had I'm going to say on our roster of maybe 40 clowns, between 40 to 50 clowns, which they come and go. They all have families, they have
Sure.
lives, they grow up from children into teenagers, and they have other activities. But right now we have a good core. I would have to say at least a good core of 20 clowns that we can rely on, which is great. And by the way, what we really do is through entertainment, through clown entertainment, we have been able to go across the state and New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and we do parades. So we have a bus that was donated to us. There's a gentleman in West Warren, Scott Mansfield, who was very prominent in getting us this donated bus, which helps us out quite a bit. And we just we go around to different places. We probably do maybe 20 parades a year.
Okay. How do you raise money for Clowning for Kids?
Well, that's primarily our biggest revenue right now, is for all of our volunteers to get together and do a parade. And those revenues that come in, we have a board of directors meeting once a month. We go through all our treasury's reports and our our meetings, and we have people that, I have a brochure here, that would write to Clowning for Kidz Foundation.
So the brochure is right here, and you can see it has a good bit of information. If people wanted to get a brochure or other information, where would they go?
It would be on the website, clowningforkidsfoundation.org.
Okay, great. Great.
And we have an office in West Warren.
Okay.
The neat thing is we do quite a few parades. The revenues that come in, we certainly we have donated to hundreds and hundreds of children. We are international. We take care of help out a school in the Philippines. Every year we give them a Christmas party. Some of these children have never received gifts. We make sure that 270 gifts are wrapped individually, and
wow.
They get food, they get school supplies, and they shut down this little village and host a party.
Okay.
You know,
and
it's
if I'm
cool.
not mistaken, you do have the video on your website? Is there some video from it?
Yeah, there could be. I don't know. I haven't been on the website. I'm sorry for some time. We have a gentleman that takes care of that. But if you go to YouTube, if you happen to go to YouTube and you type in one total solid word, simple life in the Philippines, then on that YouTube tab will come up, and but it has to be all one word.
Right.
Simple life in the Philippines.
Right. And you've shown me the video, and the kids just seem to be having so much fun.
Gary, it's incredible. You know, I get reports back from a lot of people, because we're very, very strict with giving monies out. We want to make sure that child receives 100% of the donation, or you know, it just doesn't happen. And how that happens is if somebody in town or surrounding towns, or a child is in need, or we meet the needs of the child, we make sure through either a physician or through a sponsor that they can verify. We don't need names or anything, but they have to verify that child received 100% of what was asked for.
Right. So,
and that slows down an awful lot.
Sure.
But it's 100% effective.
Well, you know, and I think it's really important, because people get so burned out. They hear about organizations that have, you know, so much of the money going for overhead and paying salaries. So I'm sure, you know, it would make people happy to know that 100% of the money they're Their
Yeah,
giving
and
is
it's great.
going for,
And it's sad that that is the truth, and we're very reluctant sometimes to give to other organizations. Not that we don't, because we certainly do.
Sure.
But we insist that we have some type of a ledger of where that money is going to and what is it proposed to do.
right, right. You know, it's funny because you mentioned the board of directors meetings, and having been a state employee for 20 years, I've been to a lot of meetings in my life, and meetings are generally very, very mind-numbing. What is a meeting of clowns like?
Well, we get everything accomplished during the course of the night. I'm going to tell you right now. We have a treasurer's report, and we have an agenda. And it's certainly passed out, and everybody reads the agenda. They read the treasurer's report, and the meeting begins. They overlap an awful lot. We do. There's no. It's an open session, and we accomplish an awful lot in the course of a night. We start at 6:30, and we end around maybe 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But we have an awful lot to talk about. We give monies to many different individual families, children's, for instance. I'm very happy with a manufacturing company in Palmer, Mass. That's Sanderson McLeod Company. For 2 years, we had the opportunity through them to distribute over 800 toys to children in the town of Palmer. And that was through their facility. They opened up their manufacturing company, and people would come in with their children, and they would take whatever toy they wanted, and it was really great. You know, I would like to do that again. We're just quite busy, but we'll get to it.
That's great.
Yeah,
So,
it is nice.
yeah. So there's no squirting flowers or
No.
anything like that at a
No.
board meeting?
No, there isn't. No,
Oh, gee,
no, there isn't. A lot of laughs, though, I've got to tell you.
Okay, yeah.
An
That's a
awful-
little disappointing. You
Yeah,
know, I
no,
was
no, there's an awful lot of
just
laughs.
imagining, you know, the whipped cream pies and
No. If that's the case, we'll come out with forks and spoons.
So when, what are the age groups that you serve?
We like, actually under the age of 16
Okay.
is basically what we do. Now, listen, we have dealt with physicians, counselors. We do a lot of day camps. Anything that is going to help build character in a child, we're on board. We've taken care of purchasing animals, dogs, for this one young boy who's 11 years old who has seizures, and this dog happens to be able to sense it prior to. So I mean, there's so many things. We had one little girl who had a stroke, I believe at the age of 3.
Wow.
And the insurance company did not recognize water therapy. And so the mother got a hold of a water therapist. And we helped finance 12 sessions with the mother and the daughter in the pool. And we have a nice letter from the doctor letting us know that the little girl after has been walking, using her right arm to wave and speaking, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's hundreds of these little teeny tidbits that I can tell you what we've been able to been involved in, and there's so many people that has helped us. Like I said, this is all volunteer. Nobody gets any wages. For instance, I don't know if you can see here's a logo right here. If you want to show the logo.
Okay,
This
yeah.
logo right here was donated and given to us from Rock Goudreau, who lives right here in the town of Ware. So we're very appreciative to everyone that helps participate with us.
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing, you asked about monies.
Right.
Because we go out and we do parades and we do other high-end gigs, we don't have the time to do birthday parties and stuff like that, but we do have other alleys that we're affiliated with that would be able to lead you to the area that you would want for a birthday party or something. But when I was talking about us doing parades and offering entertainment, which we do, when we go to these parades, we just about shake every child's hand in all parades, 100%. We go in with, I'm going to say 15 to maybe 20 clowns, and we just work the sidelines. But if there's a donation sent to us, and we've had many donations, that donation is 100% directed right to children, right either to a child or to a group of children, and it is specified in a thank you letter right away where that money went to. So
That's
it's
great.
a really nice circle. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think people really do like to know, where did my money go? And, I think one thing I've always felt with Clowning for Kids is that, you can always be sure that that money is going where it needs to go and for what it needs to be done. Now, on your bus, you have balloons painted on, and people can sponsor a balloon, is that correct?
They certainly can. The balloon is about, I'm going to say maybe 8 or 9 inches, and for $50, you can sponsor a balloon that stays on the bus. We have, I think 300 of them, but it's for $50, and that helps keep the bus going. So you can see whatever we do, we try to not take out of our funds to maintain, what needs to, of course, every corporation has, and we are incorporated. We're a nonprofit corporation. And by the way, all our volunteers and anybody that represents Clowning for Kids or anyone that we get involved with, we query and sorry check, which is a criminal and a sexual background check.
Okay.
So there's absolutely, and sometimes we get a red flag, and
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure that's going to be reassuring to people.
oh, absolutely. And the VA in Boston is the ones that help us out with that.
Right. Now, I remember being at the Asparagus Festival and seeing you had the bus there, and that was a great opportunity, by the way, for people to see those balloons and see the names of the sponsors. A little harder to see in a parade.
I love the Asparagus Fest. I have to tell you, it brings out a lot of people, and a lot of children come out. We have a cotton candy machine, and I enjoy making cotton candy for these kids. I just enjoy it very, very much.
Yeah, Carol and I were walking by, and it was just that I've never seen so many happy children in one place. So I know from that.
We had a woman come up, and she was walking by, and I had just a little cotton candy on a stick, and I said to the lady, I said, please come here. I said, I'd like you to have this, and she says, no, that's fine. I says, no, please take it. She says, well, I don't know, I haven't had cotton candy for, my God, almost 70 years. And the minute she bit into that, my God, it brought her right back to childhood again. It was just awesome.
Yeah. That is.
She was 90, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now you have there's an event coming up that's going to help you raise money.
Yep. I'm very, very happy with the school here in Ware.
Cool.
The school committee has allowed us to have a car show at September 15th, and this is in front of, I believe it's the high school, right off of Route 32, is it?
Yeah.
Yep, right there, and Yep, that's going to be a real nice event. We'd love to have, the kids, the family, everybody come on down and enjoy. We're going to have a DJ there. We're looking for a vendor right now for, sodas and hot dogs and everything. And
Okay, and the clowns will be there as well.
absolutely, definitely. Children come on down and get a balloon and meet some clowns. And we have this coloring book here that was made.
Okay.
And in this coloring book, we have a lot of us clowns in there. And when the children get them, this is a donation of $2 each.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And
Open it
when
up
they,
a little bit there.
yep, when they, matter of fact, this is a young guy right here from where? Willie.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, yeah.
And have the clowns sign the books for you.
Yeah,
We
and,
have
and
clowns.
the great thing is, I see here that at the bottom of each page, it tells you who sponsored that particular page.
Correct. So there you go again, Gary. We're not taking any monies from our revenues that we're getting in. We're making sure that the coloring book is sponsored by itself, the bus is sponsored by itself. Absolutely. And I thank everyone for sponsoring into this coloring book.
Yeah, Clowning for Kids, I think, is a very unique organization. And it really is wonderful. As I come up Route 67, and I see the sign by the side of the road.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, with the Clowning for Kids logo. And it really does make you feel rather good. Now, if the person wanted to become a clown for Clowning for Kids, what would be the procedure?
On the website, they could contact us through the website. And like I said, if I could get a roster of 5 people, I'll contact each one of them, and we'll do a Wednesday night, and we'll do it for either 4 to 8 weeks. And I will teach them professionally how to become a clown, and whether their makeup, their costumes, the way they act, parade abilities. It isn't as easy as you may think it is. Everybody would say, go ahead, make me laugh. Well, that's a hard thing to do,
Right.
Matter of fact, they make us laugh.
I think that is a really good point, because I think that the magic of clowning, and clowning is an art.
Mm-hmm.
I think the magic is to bring out the child in the person.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of times, like that woman who hadn't had the cotton candy in so many years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To bring out that inner joy and that sort of innocence.
And it's fun when that happens, because it happens naturally.
Yeah,
It just does. Everybody has a kid in them. I don't care who they are.
Yeah. Some of us it's buried more than in others.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Some of them you got to get a pick and shovel, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. And in full disclosure, I will say that my wife is one of the people
Absolutely.
who is currently in the process of becoming a clown.
Carol was very funny, because we asked her to come on board on our board of directors, because we were looking for somebody who would not partake in the art of clowning. We needed a second point of view where the activities and everything else, that you won't be involved in them, and we could have a much level playing field. Well, that didn't last, and I was totally shocked, because when she said, matter of fact, she didn't even say she was going to be a clown. She came up and said, I have an outfit and a costume, and I'll see you at the next parade, which was great.
Yeah. And it actually was, kind of a great thing for me, because I was always the clown of the family. So that's taken some of the pressure off.
What a treat, yeah, absolutely.
So is there a question that I did not ask that you wish I would have asked?
Not really. There's just so much to talk about. We do work with I would like to bring up 2 things, that we do work with a orthopedic surgeon, Naomi Shields, and she helps with an orphanage down in Hades. We also, through another family, deal with another orphanage in Dominican Republic, and they bring down clothes for a girls' orphanage, and Naomi Shield takes care of another orphanage that has boys and girls. It's just endless to give, and we receive an awful lot by this art.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah, as I say, what I really love about Clowning for Kids is that you work locally and globally.
Absolutely.
And-
All children are children.
Well, and
Right.
that's exactly such a great point. And, you know, we tend to think the children here have a lot, and they do, but there are children still with a lot of needs here. But there are
Absolutely.
children other places as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that,
My children are no different than yours.
right,
You know?
right. And I think that what Clowning for Kids is doing is really fantastic, and I would really urge people to become involved. Go to the website,
Oh, please, that would be
which
great.
again is clowningforkidsfoundation.org. That's kids with a Z.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll have
That's
trouble
phonics.
finding it.
That's a dyslexia in me.
Right, but you know, find out how to get involved, and if you know of somebody who has a need, you can find out how you can help them to get their need met.
Absolutely,
Jim,
definitely.
thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you.
And I hope to have you back sometime again in the
No,
future.
that would be great. There's so much to talk about.
Right. So again, thank you for joining us here at Creative Connections, and I will be seeing you again soon. Bye.